Hi class, just going to go over chapter 3 with you. As you'll see on here, I'm sharing my screen with you for you to see. Let's see, let me share. Okay, make sure you can see that. We have, it's beginning reading and early decoding is what we'll be discussing in this chapter. I do have an educational, not educational, but a Google Scholar informational video for you to watch if you're unfamiliar with how to use Google Scholar. If you do not have our library connected to your Google Scholar, make sure that you actually go on there and watch this video so you'll learn how to do that as well. Here are the learning objectives for this chapter. We just finished phonemic awareness, so you have a really good understanding of what it takes before we start that early reading process. So now within this chapter, you're actually going to be learning about the early reading and the reading development and how students become good readers. You also learn about RTI and those supports to help those struggling students. So I have your chapter 3 voice thread for you to listen to for those of you that like the auditory version of that. There's also the chapter 3 PowerPoint that you can follow along with. Also use that when you're taking notes and things like that. There are a couple of videos here just for you to watch, just so you can get an idea of what it may, some of these things that they're talking about may look like in the classroom. So here's the Dibbles letter naming fluency. It's going to give you quite a few of assessments that you can use in this section. So make sure you look at those. Video of writing letter sound correspondence. Here's a reading words by sight video. Here's a reading exception words video. You do have an IRIS module for this section. This strategy, PALS, is used a lot in schools. So make sure you pay attention to this. There's the PALS. This is kindergarten through 1. There's an older PALS that you, if you take any other of these classes, that you'll learn how to use PALS. But in the assessment piece, we've talked about PALS. So make sure that you go through that module and understand what's going on with PALS. Our big thing is you're also going to do a little research paper for this section. So hence why you needed to use Google Scholar. So we're going to be looking at brain research and reading. There's a lot of research out there that has really got into that brain-based teaching and learning, and really looking at what the brain does and how the brain is being used whenever we are learning. So this is just to kind of get you familiar out there. So I'm just going to read this for you. In 2004, a study funded by the National Institute of Health showed that after phonemic awareness and phonics instruction, the brain images of formerly poor readers began to look like the brain images of skilled readers. Locate and read more about this study and other neurological studies conducted in the past 10 years since the Yale study was conducted, and write a 2-page paper about the implications of this current brain research for the teaching of reading. The news article describing the original research can be found at this website. So really what I'm wanting you to do is I'm wanting you to get out there and just read and look at what's out there about brain research and the current research in teaching reading when you're looking at the brain. So you may use terms like brain-based research and teaching reading, whatever. Make sure you cite whatever you use in APA, and I showed you in the video how you could just copy and paste those from APA into your Word document, and then you'll actually just submit that here. So, and remember, if you use any information in that article that's not your own, make sure you cite, look up Purdue OWL. I'll put a couple more resources on here for you for APA purposes if you're unfamiliar with how to cite and how to reference in APA. But just a 2 little page paper about the implications this current research has for teaching reading. I don't want a summary, I just want the implications. So what's it mean? How can we use it? Those kinds of things. And then you have your chapter 3 test. And then you have also your midterm. So this chapter will cover your midterm. So it'll be chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 will be in this midterm. So make sure that you take your midterm after you take your chapter 3 test. All right, well, I will see you next time. Bye.